right off the bat with Bobby Abreu. People sleep on Bobby Abreu big time. Abreu came up as a 22-year-old with the Astros, played the bulk of his career with the Phillies, and finished up with the Yankees, then the Angels, then the Dodgers over 18 seasons. On the surface, the accolades straight up don't cut it. He never finished in the top 10 of MVP voting. He was only a two-time All-Star and a singular Gold Glove in right field. But here's why Bobby Abreu should get your vote. Bobby Abreu finished with a career WAR of 60.5. That's ahead of players like Sammy Sosa, Yogi Berra, Mike Piazza, and Vladimir Guerrero. Bobby Abreu finished with a .395 on-base percentage, which is higher than Tony Gwynn, Mark McGwire, Gary Sheffield, and Miguel Cabrera. Bobby Abreu finished his career with 288 home runs and 400 stolen bases. Of players in Major League Baseball history, only Barry Bonds, Ricky Henderson, Craig Biggio, and Bobby Bonds can say the same. Bobby Abreu should be a Hall of Famer.
Wow. Yeah, for some reason, and I think it's because my formative years in baseball came after he was his speed demon self. And you know what? He kind of kept the stolen bases going throughout the entirety of his career. I mean, when he was, 36 years old, he had 24 bags. 35-year-old, he had 30 bags. I mean, for some reason, I just view Bobby Abreu as that angel and that Dodger, right? That was just a little bit slower. He was that big burly guy, but I think that's because that's when we really fell in love with baseball and started watching Bobby Abreu. But I mean, if you just look back at what Bobby Abreu did with the Astros to start, and then the Phillies, obviously, if he gets in, he's going in as a Philly. I mean, this guy was one of the fastest dudes in the game. Also, something underrated, the power might not necessarily have been there. He did have a 30 homer season, but this guy had 7 consecutive years from 2001 to 2009 of 100 plus RBIs.
Yep.
7 consecutive years.
How about this? Not even just the RBIs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive years of over 100 walks. And why I think that is important, because I think in the early 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, when he was really coming into his own, on-base percentage wasn't as valued of a stat as it is now. So I think when we look back with a new lens, you really start to appreciate the value that Bobby Abreu had. And also the thing with the voting, and Aram and I were just talking about this, guys who clearly took steroids, the A-Rods, the Manny Ramirez's, maybe Bobby Abreu can get your vote now, and you save A-Rod, Manny Ramirez, guys like that for another time, because they can continue to be on the ballot. But Bobby Abreu should get one of those 10 votes, because you have 10 votes on a ballot, and maybe let them sit for a little bit. They're not going to go off the ballot. This is A-Rod's first year. What do you think about that?
I like it.
Because we're about to probably say that 14 of these guys should be Hall of Famers, but you only have 10 votes. So when we actually do the vote at the end of all of this, I think if we have to leave somebody off, it might be A-Rod or Manny. And then we put Abreu there, not saying that A-Rod and Manny shouldn't be Hall of Famers, but they should get in line, wait their turn for a guy like that. And another guy who I'm hearing gets so much love is Jeff Kent, who we haven't covered yet, who I think should be a Hall of Famer. But Bobby Abreu objectively had a better career than Jeff Kent did in terms of WAR. I mean, the only thing that Kent really had more was home runs.
Yeah.
But Bobby Abreu clearly just had the better overall career. And I think, it's just Bobby Abreu is one of the better all-around players in baseball history. He could just do everything across the diamond. I mean, saying one of the better, there are a lot of good players.
That was a little aggressive.
That was a little aggressive. But what I mean by that is there was nothing that I see in his stats when I watched him play that he was bad at. He was so well-rounded. And, it's hard to come by that.
Yeah, he was a career 291 hitter with a 395 OBP. That's
Very few
really
people can do
impressive.
that.
I always look at, when I look at plate discipline, yeah, obviously you look at walk rate, you look at zone control, you look at all the advanced stats that you possibly can. But the most simple way to look at plate discipline is the difference between your batting average and your on-base percentage. And I love seeing guys with an 100-point or more difference between batting average and on-base percentage. And that's what Bobby Abreu was. 395 for his career.
While hitting 290.
While hitting 290. So you're a borderline 300 guy and you're a 400 OBP guy. His career slugging clip, by the way, 475. There were consistently years that Bobby Abreu put up 300, 400, 500 as a slash line. That is an MVP candidate, 300, 400, 500. So Bobby Abreu doing this clean, by the way, clean in the steroid era is really impressive. He gets my vote too. And I like your idea of stockpiling votes. I've got this thought that I didn't know how to put into words until very recently. Like I'm talking this morning. I had no idea how to put my thoughts on the steroid conversation in. I'm going to get to it after I run through Clemens at the end of the pod. But like I figured out my way to a kind of draw the line there. You know what I mean? For steroid users. And for Bobby Abreu, like that conversation's not there because he was doing all this without synthetic drugs. Like that's really impressive.
The longevity matters because a lot of guys that we've been talking about too, they fell off or they only played 13 seasons due to injuries. This is not the case. He turned in a Hall of Fame worthy career. And you can see it when we talk about WAR, the way he's ahead of those guys. I thought it was simply amazing. Arm and I were just going over some stats. The fact that he's one of 5 players in MLB history with 250 home runs at least and 400 stolen bases. One of 5. Power speed combo. That is crazy to me.
That's the jam.
Bobby Abreu may not seem like it, but he should get your vote for the Hall of Fame.